So Becca and I made some big changes. We've made some pretty tough calls, and we're going to talk about it. So, what's up, Becca? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. A little apprehensive about how this is going to go when it comes to the recording of it. You and I were talking about how this is. Yeah, like we may have to edit this a little bit to make sure that we get everything right. But yeah, it's one of those things where like I'm super excited about the changes, but it's a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about it too.
Yeah, I'm mostly excited. I'm excited to share everything that we changed as of January 1st and just share it with everybody.
Yeah, well, I texted you the other day, and it was funny. We were talking about how I can be a little sarcastic, and you weren't sure about the text message I sent you today if it was sarcastic, and I was completely genuine. The
Yes.
text I sent you about how excited I was about Circle, I
Yeah.
did you think that was sarcasm or that was legit?
That one had context, so I felt like I believed that you were excited about that, but I was happy because I didn't know, how you would exactly feel about it. And since you were actually excited, that was like next level. So,
Yeah, I for the people that don't know, I actually don't get super excited about things. I don't. But this one, like I am. Like so, let's just kind of jump into it. So
okay.
we've had the guild. So let's kind of go. Let's talk a little bit about the guild because we started it in 2020, and
Correct.
you were not quite with us, right, at the time.
I was when we decided to actually go live, I was part-time, like part-time virtual assistant. And then it was around the time that we were launching when you had asked me to go full-time. So that
Gotcha.
everything kind of lined up right there.
So were you with us with the beta group?
No, I was not.
Okay, so beta group. So whenever I think about the guild, I think about the beta group, and I don't know if we even called it the guild at the
You
time.
no, I mean when I came in, you're like, well, we have this beta group.
Yeah, so the guild, so the actual launch of the guild was after then. So yeah, we had this beta group. What was it? I think you and I were talking about this. I think it was the conclusion we came was it was 14 people that we started with.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, and then so we created this group of people, or we had this group of people where we did hot seats every single week, and it was really interesting. 14 weeks because I think we did one a week. Really interesting, and then we decided at the time, 2020 was when we launched the guild.
March of 2020, right before everything kind of hit the fan.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that was scary. That was one of those
Right.
things where it was like, is anyone going to want to do this? And I feel like every time we've done something with Maximum Lawyer, I'm always like, are people going to want to do this? Is this something people
Same.
are going to want?
Yeah.
And because we usually do follow what people want,
Right.
and we don't. It's not like we make these massive changes because it's something people. It's not like we're doing this because we want it. It's usually because
Right.
it's something people want.
Yes.
And so, yeah, that was something that people wanted at the time. And I think needs have changed over the last 5 years, 6 years, I guess.
So much have changed. People's needs have changed. I mean, the online space has changed, like contributing and participating in things in person or online have changed. Pretty much everything has.
Yeah. So can we talk about the title? Can we talk the name? Because I think
Yeah.
people are going to want to know about the name, right?
Yes.
So we're changing the guild is no moss. It's no more.
Correct.
We have closed down the Facebook group for the guild. The
Right.
big group is still there, so that's gonna remain there.
Yep.
We'll still be active somewhat in that. We'll be mostly active in the new group, which I'll let you name it. I'll let you tell people what the name is.
So the guild is now the association by Maximum Lawyer.
Yeah,
That's what we're
which
going with.
yeah, I love it. I think it's great. It better reflects what we're wanting to do with Maximum Lawyer.
Yep.
I was talking to Jeremy Danielson just I think 2 days ago, and I just told him it's better reflects what our long term mission is. I'd say we have a very audacious goal for what Maximum Lawyer is going to be,
Right.
and I think it better reflects that.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Will you talk to before we get into like the changes? What like we tell people like what's staying the same?
Yeah, absolutely. So we had a few things from the guild that we didn't want to change at all. And that's that our weekly events are staying. Now they are changing what they are, but we're still having a weekly live event. We're still keeping that community access online, but like you said, we're going from our Facebook group to our platform is hosted on Circle now, which is just a different platform, more similar to like Kajabi and other things like that.
It's so much better though.
So much better. Yeah, I
Mhm.
spent a lot of time looking into like different softwares and platforms, and Circle won out by a landslide. So whenever I'm in there, I am also just very excited. I'm like, the headspace that you're in when you're in Circle is just business. It's just maximum layer, which is a completely different experience than when you have to log into your Facebook, see all your friends, all your groups, all your pages, all the sponsored ads, all the Facebook marketplace things for sale. And then you're trying to be in what was the guild. It's just a completely different experience. So, and then you still get exclusive member discounts to all Maximum Lawyer in-person events. And then I think that the best no change that we have also is that there's absolutely no price change. So we've added a bunch of different things in. We want to offer bigger value, but without the bigger price tag.
Yep. That's to me like so I guess we can kind of get into some of the changes like one of the most exciting things we're doing because we're keeping the conference. So if anyone is worried about that, the conference is staying. We're still doing masterminds. We're still having workshops. We're still doing all that. That stuff's not changing. But we're adding coaches. So we have new coaches every single quarter, which is super exciting. I think it's just absolutely. I think that part, and that was an idea you brought in. That was I'd say the majority of these changes you brought in. Like you some really great changes, and that part is super exciting to me.
Okay, so I think we should add too. So I'm in a mastermind for me running Maximum Lawyer right now, which is transparently where a lot of these ideas come in. But I think that should speak to like what being in a membership or a group or a mastermind can do for you. Because truthfully, I think that if I hadn't been in this membership for most of 2025, that I wouldn't have seen behind the scenes into a lot of different businesses that other people are running, which is where I'm getting a lot of these different ideas on. I hear something or I see something and I'm like, oh, that's not for our people. And then I see something else and I'm like, they need this and we're going to give it to them.
Yeah.
With the coaches too, you had already said that they're going to change quarterly. And so our coaches are niche specific. So when we bring a coach in, it's because they have their one thing that they're great at and that they're going to be, if you're in the association, they're going to be your personal coach essentially. And so in Q1 right now, so if you join the association right now, our coaches are Max and Martin from Swans. So they're going to help you with anything related to AI and automations that you could possibly want. We have Jeff Hampton, who is the YouTube expert. So if you are interested in growing your YouTube channel in 2026 for your law firm, he's your guy. And then we also have Molly Kramer, who is the billing coach. So 3 very different topics, very different coaches, depending on what you're working on in your firm. And then the goal is throughout the year, 4 times we're going to switch up those coaches and give people a different area of their firm where they can have access to an expert that they can ask for, questions, things like that they're working on. It's cool because within a couple of days, you can get a response from a coach. You don't have to pay them any extra. You don't have to hire them. No contract, no nothing. It's just you're in and you have access to them.
Yeah, and I think something people might wonder is like, oh, well, is this just one of those situations where it's like a vendor relationship where you're getting paid to bring? No, we
Nope.
made it very clear that's not what we're doing. Not at all.
And we can be super transparent. So we actually pay our coaches to be in the association because we want the intent to be what our intent is. And that genuinely is to teach you so that you can actually take action in your firm. So they are really there to be your coaches. And I think the only thing to clarify is that they're there to teach you and give you the information. Obviously, all of these coaches run their own businesses and they probably have products or services or done for you services. At the point where you want to work with them, feel free to make that connection. But they are there to teach you first. And then if it's something you're interested in, that can be on you to make that connection, because that's also a possibility.
I think that's, yeah, and that the transparency thing too. You've what I love about you is that you're always like, we need to be absolutely transparent. We
Yep.
need to be, there's no faking this, like, um, because we've had this conversation before. There's the people who do like YouTube videos where they've clearly just ripped off what someone else has done, and that drives you crazy.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I think, and so like the whole thing about being transparent about this, I think that's beautiful. I'm glad that we're doing this this episode too, just to kind of talk about, so we're fully transparent about what we're wanting to do here. Because like what the whole idea with the association is, like, one, we want to make sure we are providing way more value than what we're charging. Like that is our number. It's always been our number one concern.
Yeah.
More transparency. There's been some times where I felt like we weren't meeting that, and it really drove both of us crazy, where we
Yeah.
weren't. We wanted to make sure that we were adding. I'm not talking about you're getting what you paid for. I'm talking about we want to offer way more than what you're paying for. That's what we want. That's what we want to deliver. It's not always easy to do that. And so we've struggled with trying to figure that out. I think we figured it out. I think we figured out a really good way of delivering on that. But it fits into, I think there's a lot of groups, a lot of lawyer groups. And
Yeah.
I think you and I have taken a way different approach than many, I think. Where like, I don't view any of those as competitors.
Right.
The way the association is positioning itself is so that we all coexist. We all work with each other. We can all build each other up. There is zero desire for us to outcompete others, because I just don't view it that way. We want this to be sort of this umbrella where we're all under this big tent together, and we're all growing together. And that's the whole idea. At least that's what our mission is. Our mission is that people are being helped out when it comes to running their law firms. Legal entrepreneurs, the term that you like to use.
Correct.
I struggle trying to adopt that term, but it is the right term though, is helping legal entrepreneurs. That's what we want to do. And part of doing that is working together with all these other groups. That's the whole idea of the whole thing.
No, I completely agree. That's exactly what I want. If it's something else that's also going to help someone better their firm, make it work better for their lives, make it more profitable, make it less stressful, any of those things, that's why we're here. And then if there's other resources that can help them as well, then obviously we want them to use those too.
Yeah, can we talk a little bit? I don't know if we went in enough about why we're going with Circle. So to me, the biggest benefit is because we like you said, we looked at a lot of different platforms. Facebook, you can't. It's always driven me nuts. You even found me options so I actually can't see my feed whenever I get onto Facebook, because I get
my feed off as well. Yeah.
Because I get so distracted going in there. Like that was one option, but like to me, it's the organization of things, like finding things. Which leads me to Kajabi. So we have Kajabi, which we've used for years, and it's way overpriced for what it delivers on when it comes to organization. I've sat in masterminds where people had said, "Hey, I heard there's a training on X. Can you, not the platform, but like just, X, X versus
Topic,
Y."
yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I would go and I would sit in the mastermind right in front of them, like, "Oh, I'll find it for you." I couldn't find the damn thing.
Right.
It would drive me crazy. That's not a problem with Circle. Circle, it's all organized very neatly, and you can find things very, very easily. And that's the whole point of it. And that's what I love about Circle. And that's why we went with a platform like Circle, so you can organize things a lot easier and find things, and you can communicate, you can chat with people, you can do a lot of different things.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the organization, to me, that's my favorite part about all of it.
It is. So I evaluated, Kajabi also has a community feature that doesn't even come close to Circles. I actually wanted Kajabi's to be better. When I went into the research aspect of this, I wanted it to be better because it would have just been an add-on to our plan, right? And then everything would have been in Kajabi, because right now the resources are in Kajabi. And so that would have been easier. But the results were that it wasn't a better community. In fact, Kajabi, it was a single feed just like Facebook is. So you have one single feed, people are posting. Let's just say you remember someone said something last week and you want to contribute to that now and it's a week later. You can search some keywords, it might work, it might not, or you scroll and you scroll and you scroll and you try to find that. The difference is in Circle, we have spaces or rooms, is what they call them. So we've separated out our rooms into different topics. Let me actually pull them up so I can. So we have people and processes, intake and conversion, billing, AI and automations, social media, finance and tax, SEO and ads, health and mindset. So the nice thing is that you can pick the topic that you're working on and you can go in there to post and ask questions. You can go in there to read what other people are working on and what they've been saying. And then during different quarters, three of those rooms will have a coach inside the room. So you can go into there. And then one thing I do just want to say too about switching from Facebook into Circle is that we can say and teach and do whatever we want in there without Facebook moderating us. Here's one thing. I've wanted to say this for so long because since March of 2020, we have gotten multiple dings in our Facebook group saying that warnings, saying that if this is said again by us or a member, so we can't even control if it's said in there, which is part of the reason that we turned on post approval in the big group. So on Facebook, so this is very common in entrepreneurship in general. This is a very popular book. You and Jim have talked about this on the podcast so many times, and that is burn the boats. If you say or write the words burn the boats on Facebook, they want to close down your Facebook group, and that is just too risky. So while we're talking about it in relation to building a business, Facebook sees it another way. And so now on Circle, there's no competing agendas and people can just speak and work on their businesses.
Yeah, and it's because I don't think, to my knowledge, we've never been dinged for anything legitimate. It's been something in that context where we're like, what the
Yeah.
hell? There's no appeal process,
No.
nothing. It's just, you've been dinged, now don't do it again. It is,
Yeah.
and it's such a really weird thing. And as someone that's been in Facebook jail for my bourbon group, it's it's very detrimental, is what it is. Yes. But and I think it's really funny. We have, if you're wondering about how did we come up with the different, what are they called, channels, or
So they're rooms.
spaces?
They're different rooms. Spaces are rooms. Yep.
Yeah. And you made it your criteria is very strict for how many we could have and all that.
Yeah.
And so, because if it were up to me, I'd have like 40, and
Right.
it wouldn't be any better than Facebook. You came up with a very good list. So, we tried to curate a list of the most relevant topics. So that's how we came up with those. We combined some, but the ones that were combined, they're related to each other. So that's kind of how we came up with that.
Yeah, a couple of things. So one, there is actually still one room that is just like a general conversation room, and that room actually acts like a feed. So if someone wanted to pop in, I don't know, a personal win, or if they saw something that doesn't fit specifically into a room, but they want to share it with other people, there is actually one room that acts like almost just like you're talking to people back and forth in a feed, but all of the other rooms act as their topics specifically. So I think that that's a really good feature.
Something else, I was kind of looking at my notes, and something that we haven't talked about is, that I really like, and I didn't think it was going to be a thing that I would like and I didn't even know if people would use it. But as people were transitioning from the guild over into Circle, I would click and I would read their profile. In their profiles, it was people were actually filling out completely. I was thinking of Brian Mittman's. Brian Mittman put a bunch in, and I was like, I really enjoyed reading people's profiles and getting to know more about them. I thought it was really interesting.
The profiles are the best, and they're completely different than the fact that, yes, people were on Facebook, and if they wanted, you could have clicked someone's name and gone to that. But that's not a professional profile. That's not a profile that helps you learn about them in the way that you want to learn about them. So when we were in the Facebook group, we technically had a spreadsheet that was supposed to be the directory. And that was supposed to help people understand what city, what state, and what practice areas. That way you could find people near you, or if you had a referral, you could find that. The spreadsheet will be eliminated now because every member will have their own profile, and it's great. It's going to tell you all of those things and more. There's also a spot where people can put, say you're a law firm owner, but Tiffany Weber, for example, her YouTube channel is amazing. So there's a spot where it says like your area of expertise. And if she wanted, she could put that in there. And then when members look her up on there, she would pop up and maybe they could DM her questions. It's another cool thing about Circle is there is DMing in there as well, but it's not mixed up within all the other DMs. Again, I know people love to DM me on Facebook. It is a little hard to keep track of because it's mixed up with like my Facebook Marketplace messages and my grandma's messages and all of these things that happen in Facebook. So I think the DMing is going to be much more beneficial between members when they're just in Circle talking to each other rather than in Facebook.
So something I had not thought about that part of it. If you have ever sent me a Facebook message, most likely it took me months or weeks to respond to it, is because I am terrified of going into my messages in Messenger and getting distracted for hours. That is, it's like my email. Like, it's like I have to, like, that's why I've got an extension to block my emails when I go into it, so I'm not distracted. With this, I can go in and I go into Circle on a regular basis, and if I have a direct message, I can respond to it right away. And I have zero risk of seeing a bunch of stuff from Facebook that I don't feel like that, some person that I grew up with 20 years ago that wants to chit chat and catch up. I don't have to worry about that. It's all about business. And I was at Disney World, and I was actually, writing articles on Circle because I was enjoying it. And there was no risk because I wasn't going to get distracted by other things. And so I really enjoy that part of it.
I do too. It's a completely different experience and I love it.
Yeah. All right. What have we missed? Have we missed anything when it comes to that? I don't know if we have. I've got through my outline when it comes to everything. Anything else we need to touch on?
Yeah, let me go through my list. We'll have Sharon. I'll just say this now. Sharon's going to cut this out of both the audio and the video because we're going to kind of restart with a topic. We did what's not changing, what's changing. We did member profiles. Are
we gonna do do people still get 2 extra people? We haven't talked about that.
We haven't, so I don't think we should do it on the podcast.
Okay.
Because I'm not exactly sure about that. We talked about the experts. I think that we should the only 4 things that I had left was to talk about the weekly events, what they are and the benefits of them and things like that. Because those changed from what they were.
Yeah. Do you want to go through those?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would start with something like, the only last thing we should cover is blank.
Yep. All right. So the last thing I think we should cover are our weekly events. So those are changing from what they were previously, and we changed those to benefit the members more. We think they're going to get a lot more out of these. And so what they're going to be is they're on a 4-week rotation, and then they just keep changing. So before we did something like the first Tuesday, the second Tuesday, now we're just on a 4-week rotation, and they're going to run through like that. So every other week is going to be coaching with you. And that's live Q&A, open office hours. People just come in during that time and they can bring any questions and you guys will work through them almost like a mini hot seat. You bring in your thing and you guys are just going to work through it in real time. You'll come up with action steps. They can leave and actually act on it right after the call.
And can I touch on that really quick?
Of course.
I will touch on things, or I will answer questions about things, and I will get into things if I feel like I've got expertise on it, right? But one of the things that it's really nice whenever we get questions in advance, I'll actually take them to people that I believe are experts to get answers on them. I'm a firm believer in not trying to give advice on something I have zero expertise in.
Yes.
And so I think there are too many. I had that great episode this morning that I recorded. I was telling you about, and I was talking to him about how there are too many people out there that are expert on everything.
Right.
And I think that's got to change. And so I want to make sure I'm practicing what I preach. So I don't want to. I don't want people to think, "Hey, I have the answers to everything." I don't, but I will get them. That's the point of the association is getting the answers. It's crowdsourcing the answers from from actual experts. So I just want to make that part clear. I think it's really really important that people, if anyone tells you they're an expert on everything, that means they're probably not an expert on anything. So just my 2 cents.
I agree. So, like you said, crowdsourcing and also making connections too is another huge benefit of the association, both through us, referring to who we know and who we think can help, but then also other members are also going to know. So that's why you also want to go into circle and ask the questions, and other people can send you to or who what worked for them. And so then that leads us to kind of the same thing. We can also, depending on who is a coach during that quarter, you're like, who would be really great? Pop this question into the AI and automation room, because Max and Martin are going to be able to help you with this. That's another thing that we can do. And another one of our weekly events, live events, is an expert training with Q&A. So each month, essentially, one of the quarterly coaches will do a short training and then leave plenty of time for Q&A. And the Q&A can be related to the training that they did, or you can bring in your topic specific questions to them during their call. So that's a new one. That's a new event that we have going on.
Very exciting. I think that's amazing. I think that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to those.
Yeah, that's going to add a lot. And then the last change is that one of the weekly events is going to be a member breakout. So the point of this is to make better connections with the other members. I think growing your network is huge and super beneficial to running a law firm. I think that not only do you learn a lot more, not only does it expand your network, but it can make it feel less lonely, which I feel like people might not admit a lot, but I think it's a big benefit. And it will be prompted too, though. So you come into as a big group, and then what we do is we'll have a business prompt. So we'll say, you're going to talk about this topic for, say, a minute, and then you're going to get feedback from your group for 5 minutes, just depending on however many people show up, because we put you into small group breakouts, probably 3 or 4 different people that you can work with during that call.
I think that's awesome. I think that part's really fun too. There's so many little things like this that we're adding that I don't know, it gets me giddy, makes me excited. That's twice I've used that word in 2 days. I think I've hit my max for the year.
I think it is all I think we're just very excited for the changes that we actually think are going to like really make a difference. And we're just getting started with them. So it's going to be good.
Big plans. We have big plans. So yeah. And I guess I'm not going to get into the Max Law Con tickets because we don't know when those are going to go back in sale. But I got to resay it now.
So Sharon, we're going to cut this from video and audio. I'm going to have, because you were talking, I'm going to have you do this. You should actually say something like, previously we had mentioned that members get discounts to all events. And you should say, we do have our next 2 masterminds scheduled. One's at the end of February, one's in June in Chicago. And you can head to maxlawevents.com to check those out. You should just do a little.
It's not in Scottsdale, right? It's
Phoenix. Just say Phoenix.
Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah, we have lots of big changes coming, really exciting changes. I think it's gonna be amazing. We have our next 2 association events. I'm not used to saying that, the new association events scheduled end of February, and then June, you said, for Chicago. So Chicago is going to be in June, and then we're going to have Phoenix is going to be at the end of February. So super excited about that. Stay tuned for whenever we re-release. We release more tickets for Max Law Con. Go to maxlawevents.com. So maxlawevents.com for your tickets to the association events, and then also keep an eye on that and also post from us about tickets to Max Law Con. So that's going to be coming out. You got to keep your ear out for that because we're only releasing those in phases. So go to maxlawevents.com.
Yeah.
I guess I want to do this too. I want to remind everyone about Becca's list. So it does somewhat fit into this overall model that we're building for the association. And so beccaslist.co, if you've not gone on there to leave reviews for vendors or if you want to request a vendor, You can do that as well, but that's a big part of this too. So this is the whole rising tides thing where we want to make sure we're looking out for each other when it comes to vendors. So make sure you go to beccaslist.co. But Becca, I will give you the final word. Anything else you got?
No, I'm just really excited. If you guys want to check out the association, try it out. It's just month to month as well. So you can come into the membership for a month, see what it's really like, see if it's your style, if you actually get some use out of it. But you could go to maximumlawyer.com and then join the association and give it a shot. I'm so excited. I'm excited for the members that are already in there, already using it. And so hopefully we'll see you in there.
Yeah, I said I give you the final word. I will just say this: we've created something that I would enjoy, that I would join myself, and so I think that's a big part of this. Is we want to make sure that we created something that we thought other people would want to join as well. So I'm excited about it. So I'm hoping you'll be excited about it too. But so I still have the last word. But thanks, Becca. Appreciate it.
Thank you.